Osian, it's Mark from Sky. Can you hear me okay?
Hi, Mark. Yes, I can hear you well. Thank you.
Happy New Year's Eve to you, Osian.
And you, Happy New Year.
First things first, how is Patrick? Obviously positive with COVID. Is he okay? Is he well?
Yes, he's very well, thank you. He's recovered well this week. So cross fingers, we'll see, wait and see what happens. But hopefully he'll be with us very, very soon.
So you're not expecting to see him involved on the match day tomorrow?
Unsure at the moment, on a day-to-day basis, we're being tested. So we'll wait and see what tomorrow morning brings us. But
there is a chance he could be in the dugout for tomorrow's game?
It's a possibility, yeah. So obviously from our viewpoint, we want him here. Desperately been hoping that he will be back at the helm. So yeah, we're just waiting to see what the next couple of, today, tonight and tomorrow will bring us in terms of news.
Fingers crossed for that one then. How much has this week been affected by Patrick having to self-isolate? How much responsibility have you had to take on the training pitch? Has he been on the sort of FaceTime before and after sessions? How much involvement and contact has there been?
Yeah, of course, the communication strategy has worked really, really well. So we've been in full contact, regular contact with Patrick and making sure we follow instructions as best we can on a daily basis. And obviously at the club as well, we're fortunate we've got a good group of staff who have collectively taken on more responsibility to make sure that we help each other through this situation. So overall, it's been done in a fairly smooth way and well operated. So now we're looking forward to the game tomorrow.
You talk about it being done in a smooth way and well operated. Has Patrick been on the FaceTime in the dressing room to the boys before training? Is that sort of the technology you've been using?
Yeah, of course, different platforms that you use. There's many of them. But yeah, we've been using all those platforms to make sure that virtually it's the same as if he was in the room. So everything's worked well.
And just aside from Patrick, are there any other COVID cases at the moment? How are you coping? Obviously, you have played Boxing Day. You have played on the 28th. You're one of the few teams that have fulfilled all of their fixtures. What's the latest with all the other players? Yeah,
we're trying to play all our games, of course. Of course, in terms of that, it's on a day-to-day basis. So again, today we've gone through that process. Our results will come in later. So again, for tomorrow, we'll either know late this evening or tomorrow morning where we stand, and we'll take it from there.
New Year's Day football, London derby against West Ham, 2-2 in the game earlier on in the Premier League season. How much will that will be a factor in terms of the performance, or the team's very different to that early meeting in the season, do you feel?
No, I think they're two very good teams, in my opinion. I think West Ham United have been, on a great run. They're one of the best teams in the league. Very difficult to play against. They have all the attributes you need to be successful in the league. Of course, they've got one of the most experienced managers, great staff working with David Moyes as well. So we have total respect for them as a team, as a club, and we know it's going to be a difficult encounter for us. But we're in a decent run of form ourselves, especially at home, and I'm sure it'll be a great atmosphere tomorrow.
Osian, thanks ever so much. All the best.
Pleasure. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you. We'll go to Olivia at Premier League Productions.
Hi, Osian. How are you?
Hi, Olivia. I'm good. Thank you. And you?
Yeah, good. Thank you. You mentioned your home form there. 4 out of the 5 games Crystal Palace have won in the Premier League this season have come at Selhurst Park. How important is it to make sure that home form continues into 2022 as well?
Yeah, of course. Winning games, we want that to be a habit, whether that's at home or away from home. I mean, we performed very well away from home against West Ham, actually. But of course, our home form to date has been very good, and we want to keep that going as long as we possibly can. Of course, our supporters, have played an incredible, important role in making sure that we are successful at home. So, again, we're confident going into the game, but we're fully aware of the threats that West Ham bring. and we're fully aware that it's going to be a really, really tough game for us tomorrow.
You've got a couple of big important players going off to the African Cup of Nations after sort of this match round. I actually spoke to Will Hughes yesterday, who said, actually, when those players do go, we've got such an incredible squad now that actually we can fill those places and be really strong. Would you agree with that?
Yeah, that's why you have a squad of players, you know, and every player has been carefully recruited by the club and by the manager to make sure that we knew, of course, that this situation was going to arise at this time of the season anyway. So, but you know, they're three important players for us that we're going to miss over the next few weeks. But of course, at the same time, being fully aware of that, we feel we've got players that can step in and take their opportunity, like JP Mateta did last week, like a couple of days ago. It's important that players, when they get their opportunity, step up, because they work hard during the week, they train hard, everybody's working well, and it's important when the opportunity comes that they take that with both hands. And
just finally, one final question from me. Obviously, we might see Patrick back on the touchline for this game, but how much have you enjoyed this experience of being on the touchline for Crystal Palace on your own and sort of leading the line there? Well,
as I've said before, I'd much rather that I was sat behind Patrick and supporting him. But of course, you know, I had a job to do like everybody else. And the important thing is that you do that to the best of your ability and try and make sure that we get through this short period, you know, as unscathed as we possibly can, and make sure that we pick up as many points and that the players feel that everything is the same. So, you know, alongside the staff that have worked hard to make that happen, we're hoping, you know, that when the manager comes back, he's relatively pleased with where we are and how things have been. But of course, you know, everything has been done to follow the instructions given by Patrick to make sure that we try and keep on the same road, on the same path, and in a seamless manner.
Perfect. Good luck tomorrow. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thanks, Olivia. Alex Howe, BBC Sport.
Hi, Osian. Happy New Year.
Hi, Alex. Happy New Year.
Just looking back on the game a couple of days ago, how pleasing was it to be able to get a win like that with Patrick out and missing quite a few members of the squad as well?
Yeah, it was a very good performance from us, I thought. You know, we started well, got that early goal, and it was important for us that we built upon that, because that's something that isn't always the case, and it doesn't come, you know, automatically. You have to earn it. And the boys did that extremely well. So, you know, in the first half, you know, we were a real threat from an attacking point of view, and controlled the game to an extent, both with the ball and without the ball. But of course, it was really important for us in the second half to manage the game, and at the same time make sure that we keep a clean sheet, that we defend resolutely, because Norwich, you know, had their fair share of chances or opportunities and possession, and were a threat. So we had to manage those situations. So overall, in terms of an overall performance, we were really, really pleased, especially in the context of all the challenges that we face at this point in time. So, you know, we want to make sure now that we build on that, because we know that it's really important for us to keep picking up points and keep moving, you know, on an upward trajectory, really. So, you know, we're looking forward to tomorrow. Again, one of the top teams in the league, and it will be a good benchmark for us again.
And looking to tomorrow with your preparations, I know you touched on players with COVID. What is the injury news? Is there anyone missing out or anyone coming back?
Well, in terms of availability for tomorrow, I think we're in a fairly good place. Who knows what today brings in terms of the PCR process? So we'll take that as we do every day of the week and adapt accordingly. But other than that, no, we're in a good place, and there's competition for places. You know, one or two players stepping in, you know, making a case for staying in the team. And of course, we embrace that. That's what we expect. And so it'll be interesting. We'll you know, Patrick will select the starting lineup tomorrow and leave that as late as possible. And no doubt, it'll be a team that is going to be competitive, but at the same time, there will be players that are, ready to come off the bench again and make an impact when they get that opportunity.
Thank you. And finally, January transfer window opens, and just wondering whether you'd spoken to Patrick about bringing players in, or is that something you'll be looking to do, especially as you'll be missing a couple to AFCON?
Well, of course, we're missing the 3 players that will go to AFCON for however long, we're not sure. But in terms of recruitment during this window, that hopefully will be a question you can ask very, very soon to Patrick himself, who is in constant dialogue with the board, of course.
Perfect. Thank you and good luck.
Thank you.
Thanks, Alex. We go to George Sessions, PA.
Hi, Osian. Good to speak to you again.
Hi, George.
I know you couldn't give much in terms of clarity on Conor Gallagher after the Norwich game. Can you say any more now, or is that still one you can't really speak too much about?
Yeah, it's still one where we're unsure of, and we're taking on a day-to-day basis. So again, as with the rest of the group, we'll see what today brings. We've gone through the process as we do every day, and hopefully we'll have clarity later on this evening or first thing tomorrow morning. And that's why team selection always at the moment has got to be left till the very last minute.
Yeah, sure. Just on the injuries, James McArthur obviously was such an important player at the start of the season. Been about a month now, hasn't it, since he's played? Do you know kind of what the latest is with him, and also Joachim Andersen come off, didn't he, against Norwich? Was that just precautionary, or is that a little bit worse than you was hoping?
Yeah, Joachim is fine and available. Of course, a lot of games in close proximity is one of the issues for all clubs in terms of players being able to recover quickly, in particular if they've been out of contention and not played for a few weeks. So we have to be extremely careful in terms of that. And then, in terms of Macca will not be in contention for this week, and probably next week might be a little bit early as well. We'll see how things go beginning of the week with him.
And just finally from me, those 3 players going to the AFCON, I'm guessing they're all pretty determined to kind of sign off on a good note, especially Wilf, obviously, after his red card as well.
Yeah, exactly. So, we wish them all well in the AFCON. It's a really important tournament. I came here to Palace from the African continent, having been technical director of the Moroccan Football Federation for a couple of years. So I know the great work that's going on the African continent to aspire to be, at the highest level possible. So we wish all our players the very best out in Cameroon in the competition. And obviously we want them back as soon as possible, albeit that, if they're successful, that will take a little bit longer. So we'll see how that goes. But it's an incredible tournament that we'll be watching closely. But of course, we'll be wanting the 3 back and back in the squad as soon as is possible for us.
Thanks, George. Okay, that concludes the broadcast.